tribunal. Governor Wike flags off construction of judges' quarters on site of demolished properties of Bayelsa State Government in Port Harcourt. Traders, commercial drivers kick as Rivers State Task Force on Street Trading and Illegal Motor Parks resume operations. Presidential Election Petition Tribunal dismisses PDP Labour Party's request for live coverage. Supreme Court to deliver verdict in PDP suit against President-elect Bola Tinubu this week. On the foreign scene, U.S. debt ceiling talks described as productive, but no deal yet. Peace is the path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. I am Ifeimi Andrew. The APC governorship candidate in Rivers State, Tonye Cole, says it is not true that he has withdrawn his petition against the declaration of PDP candidate Siminalayi Fubara as winner of the March 18 governorship election in the state. Mr. Cole said this in a video following reports that the APC in Rivers State has withdrawn its petition against the declaration of the PDP candidate as winner of the March 18 governorship election in the state. The report said that at the tribunal on Monday, the Rivers State Election Petition Tribunal struck out the petition filed by the APC following the withdrawal by its counsel, Solomon Umo. Counsel to the APC told the tribunal that he would be taking over as counsel for the party following a motion for change of counsel before the tribunal. He also informed the court that his clients would like their names to be struck out from the petition as applicants. Jibrin Okutekpa, who was the former counsel to Tonye Cole and the APC, told the tribunal that he was not briefed on the new development by the party. The three-man panel, led by Justice Cletus Emifoniye, however, granted the application for change of counsel and also granted the motion as prayed by striking out the name of APC as a petitioner. One of the grounds for the application, amongst others, is that there is the need to seek the leave of the Honorable Tribunal to strike out the name of the second petitioner and applicant, as the applicant has no intention to participate in this petition. No date has been fixed for the commencement of the pre-hearing of applications before the tribunal. Moving on. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has flagged off the construction of the second phase of residential quarters for judges on the site of the demolished properties of Bayelsa State Government in Old GRA, Port Harcourt. Speaking during the ceremony yesterday, Governor Wike said the Rivers State Government acquired the properties under public policy of the state after the Bayelsa State Government failed to renovate them. He said the condition of the buildings contravened the urban renewal policy of his administration.
In 2021, I wrote to my colleague, the governor of Bayelsa State, and I said, listen, this property here is highly dilapidated. You don't even know those who are staying here. In 2021, August, even when we attend our governor's meeting, I called his attention. I said, listen, there is no way we can allow this kind of property to be here. It is either you renovate it or you sell it to Rivers State government. 2022, I reminded him. I said, look, up to now, you've not done anything. I said, oh, you will try and do something. Minister of Land issued them another 14 days notice so that they'll be able to take action. They did not. So we acquired it under public policy. And so that's why we are building the judges' quarters.
Governor Wike also said that the acquisition of the property will not affect the relationship between Rivers and Bayelsa State.
To tell the Bayelsa people, I have nothing against Bayelsa State or the Bayelsa people. But every government must be serious. You must show leadership. The law school that is started in Port Harcourt, nobody forced Rivers State to go and intervene. We went and intervened in law school and spent not less than 5.3 billion naira. If we have anything against Bayelsa State, there's no one would have want to even help in rebuilding that law school. When Bayelsa State was inaugurating their medical school, Rivers State government was invited. That occasion was done on a Saturday. I was there. The Rivers State government donated 500 million naira. And on Monday, the state government acknowledged of the receipt of that money. We are playing brother and sister role, which is supposed to be.
Our correspondent reports that the construction of the judges' quarters is expected to be completed in 5 months. In the meantime, Governor Nyesom Wike has urged the Rivers people to hold public officers accountable to ensure they keep to their promises. Governor Wike said this during the commissioning of the Basic Medicine 500-bed hostel for medical students of the Rivers State University. He also pledged the state government's readiness to always partner private investors. Apologize for the poor quality of that audio. Going on now, Governor Wike also promised to pay for the scholarship of students of the Rivers State University before the end of his tenure, but added that they have to serve the state first before seeking greener pastures outside the state. In another development, the president of the Movement for the Development of Oyigbo Ethnic Nationality in Rivers State, Victor Opute, is concerned over the slow pace of work by the contractor in charge of the construction of the Oyigbo Afam Road. Mr. Opute tells our correspondent that roads that were flagged off after the Oyigbo Afam Road have been completed and commissioned.
The timeline for completion of the AFAM road and commissioning was given for December 2022, and that timeline have expired. LCC did not finish AFAM road. This is May 2023, and that AFAM road still have not been concluded. We are using this medium to appeal to the Executive Governor of Rivers State, Chief Barrister E.N. Wike, to instruct LCC handling AFAM road to speed up work on that road to enable him commission the road before May 29 that he's leaving office.
Mr. Opute, however, called on the incoming administration of Siminalayi Fubara to consider the internal road in Oyigbo in his urban development agenda.
So we are using this medium to also remind the incoming governor of Rivers State, the governor-elect, that the internal roads within the Oyigbo urban area is in terrible condition. There is a serious road infrastructure deficit in the Oyigbo urban area, which has resulted to people packing out of Oyigbo urban to neighboring LGA because of the terrible condition of internal street roads within the Oyigbo urban area. It is actually demarcating the Oyigbo urban area.
Recall that the Oyigbo Afam Road was flagged off in December 2021. Moving on. The coordinator of the River State Task Force on Street Trading and Illegal Motor Parks, Felix Nwandibe, has again assured that the task force will follow the law as it resumed work yesterday after about 2 months of halting operations. Mr. Nwandibe said this in an interview with correspondent Emeka Otuka as commercial drivers renewed calls for an overhaul of the task force.
All along, we have been clearing people from the road, street traders, illegal motor park. It is the same job, but this time with more seriousness, because the number of prosecutions we had last time was less. Now we will increase it. Offenders will no longer be treated with levity. They will be handled seriously. So more people will go to court. And that is the only different thing that we will face now. Any offender arrested will be prosecuted. So the leniency before now was much and makes the job look as if we are not serious.
The coordinator of the River State Task Force on Street Trading and Illegal Motor Parks, however, admitted that some officials of the task force connive with hoodlums to extort traders and drivers.
Before now, many people have been complaining of illegal task force and all the rest. And it's not far from the truth. Most of the boys, even when they are not on duty, they will team up with some other persons, go on the road, kind of illegal duty. So this time around, anyone found will definitely be thrown off the board. It will no longer be with us.
Speaking on the actual reason the task force suspended its operations in March, Mr. Nwandibe said it is not linked to the death of the taxi driver.
The incident at Rumokoro is a kind of personal issue, so that cannot stop government work from going on. Police is still investigating. So when the outcome of police investigation comes out, we now know what the next step of action to take. For now, we are on, and the police are still on in that case. So it's not the reason why we were off-road for some time. We were off-road as a result of the management issue we are having, which have been resolved. We are fully back. Even all the flyovers in Port Harcourt, men will be posted there now because drivers behave anyhow, they park anyhow, traders storm the flyover at market.
Recall that the taxi driver, Simeon Ihuarulam, a 52-year-old father of 5 from Owomama in Imo State, supplied the Rumokoro Rukwaku a Gruta access in Port Harcourt until his death. His fellow drivers say he was assaulted by a task force official on March 12 during an argument. He died in hospital the next day, sparking a protest by other taxi drivers. The leadership of the task force never spoke on the issue, but its officials were taken off the road. A similar incident led to the dissolution of the task force in August 2020. A fresh task force was later reconstituted in January 2021 with a promise to operate more professionally. It hasn't turned out that way so far, even though their absence since March saw many street traders return to the roads alongside illegal motor parks. Meanwhile, the head of commercial drivers along the Rumokoro axis in Obiakpoleko government area, Omas Jerry, says the family of Simeon Ihuaralam, the taxi driver who died after an altercation with an official of the task force, reached an agreement with the leadership of the task force. In an interview with our correspondent, Mr. Jerry appealed to the task force to keep to the agreement with the family of late Mr. Ihuaralam before resuming operations.
I informed that they want to start work, but the fact is that we are supposed to bury our brother that died because of their discharging of their duty. As it stands now, I have not seen them. As they said, they have negotiated with the family. The family have told us that they have agreed with them, the settlement. But we have not been informed that they have do what they promised. So we are also advising them that we are still in pain. It will be good enough if they have settled the family and the man is led to rest. I think there's no issue. Despite what to happen, we need them on the road.
Earlier, some commercial drivers called for an overhaul of the Rivers State Task Force on street trading and illegal motor parks as they resumed operations yesterday.
Then we start the work, make them respect themselves. The full accountability government tell them. We two drivers will respect ourselves. I don't see like three of them when they wear their cap. They don't get uniform, just wear cap. Sorry to say, they be pre-spoiler. To me, as weekend ago, make them just go. Make team, restructure a new task force. Give them code of conduct. Now what we need, now what the masses need.
Traders at the Rumokoro market also criticized the mode of operation of the task force and called for an outright ban of their operations.
Let them just dissolve them, let them go. Don't need them, We are okay, don't need them again.
I no go like make them resume because some of them they no get same passport, they turn the work like just like criminal work. Sometimes they go 6 market, they no go return them again. They go sell them on their own. They go beat person, bring blood.
Person like me, I don't even want them to come again because they used to pour kerosene, people market, then beat women, then throw their market in the gutter. So all those things, wickedness, when they seize your market, now to go throw away the market, sometimes they sell it. So we don't need them for market now.
Chairman of Rumigbo Clan Council, Gabriel Chinwon, says the general public and all business owners in Rumigbo are warned not to remit money to any other person other than his administration as the chairman of Rumigbo Clan Council. In a statement, Mr. Chinwon said anyone who does otherwise is doing it at his or her own risk. Still ahead, Supreme Court to deliver verdict in PDP suit against President-elect Bola Tinubu others this week. Stay tuned. After 2022 flood in River State are to receive relief materials as the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs, in collaboration with the National Emergency Management Agency NEMA, has flagged off the distribution of presidential palliatives in the state. Director of Planning, Research and Statistics Alfred Abba, on behalf of the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs Omana Omana, commended President Buhari for the relief materials.
Niger Delta is always worst hit by flood in the country because of its topography and location. Consequent upon this ugly situation, President Muhammadu Buhari, in his concern and love for the people of the Niger Delta, approved that relief materials should be given to the flood victims in the states of the Niger Delta to alleviate challenges that came with the flood. This is in addition to earlier assistance to the affected states. We are therefore most grateful to the President. We are aware that no amount of relief provided by government can replace the losses as a result of the flood. However, it is our candid belief that the relief items will help alleviate the burden currently faced by our people.
Also speaking, River State NDDC Board Representative Chukwudi Dinkba said the Commission will supervise the distribution of the relief materials by NEMA to ensure that it is delivered to flood victims across the 23 local government areas.
This is the first stage from the information the minister has passed across, which means that the federal government and the Niger Delta Ministry are going to send some more. NEMA is going to be handling the distribution. They understand the areas affected most, so they will effectively distribute it. We'll also oversee what they're doing to make sure it gets to the people who actually need it, and hopefully the second phase comes immediately after. We have foodstuff, there are bags of Gary rice, we have salt, we've got some mattresses, blankets, cooking stove, grinding machines, we even have clippers for the people. We also have building materials, cement, wood, nails.
On his part, the chairman of Tai Local Government Area, Mbakbone Okbe, also said the 2022 palliative will help reduce effects of the coming flood.
We were called on today to come and inspect the palliatives that was brought by the federal government through the Prime Minister of Niger Delta. As it is, I've been privileged to take a sight at two of their warehouses, the one at Rukboku and the one at Transamadi. What they are doing here today is carry out inventory of the quantity of these palliatives that were brought, and with the intention of distributing it to the affected local government, which my own local government is one of. I do know that this palliative is for 2022, and you also know that we are moving into another phase of flood in this year, so I feel if this thing comes out early, it can cushion the effect of what is going to come.
The Minister of State for Environment, Udi Udom, was also present at the flag-off ceremony. The Supreme Court will on the 26th of May deliver judgment in a case by PDP seeking the disqualification of President-elect Bola Tinubu and Vice President-elect Kashim Shettima. Recall that the PDP had urged Apex Court to reverse the Court of Appeal judgment led by Justice James Abundaga, which held that the party failed to establish its locus standi. The Presidential Election Petition Court will rule today on whether or not to harmonize the three petitions by the PDP and its candidate Atiku Abubakar, Labour Party and its presidential candidate Peter Obi, and the Allied People's Movement. The presiding Justice Haruna Samani, announced this while adjourning further proceedings in the petitions. Presidential Election Petition Tribunal has dismissed PDP and Labour Party's request for live coverage.
And now, we bring you news from around the world.
U.S. President Joe Biden and top Republican Kevin McCarthy have called their latest talks on the debt ceiling productive, but no deal has yet been reached. While acknowledging areas of disagreement, Mr. Biden said default is off the table. The debt ceiling is a spending limit set by Congress, which determines how much money the government can borrow.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
On the news this morning, you heard APC governorship candidate in River State Tonyeko has denied withdrawing his petition at the tribunal as the APC withdrew its petition. Governor Wike has flagged off construction of judges' quarters on the site of demolished properties of Bayelsa State government in Port Harcourt. The River State Task Force on Street Trading and Illegal Motor Parks have resumed work after about 2 months of halting operations. Presidential Election Petition Tribunal has dismissed PDP Labour Party's request for live coverage. Supreme Court is to deliver a verdict in PDP's suit against President-elect Bola Tinubu this week. On the foreign scene, you heard the U.S. debt ceiling talks has been described as productive, but no deal has been reached yet. The news was edited by Choma Ezemafo. Mostly cloudy weather is expected in Port Harcourt this morning. Peace is a path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. My name is Ifeemi Andrew. Good morning.
On your number one talk station.
You get a daily dose of